Hello, me again, and this will be my last video that goes with my new course that is coming up next week called No More A-Holes. And this is the fourth video. It's also a great video to watch even if you're not planning on taking the course, because what I'm going to talk about is choosing what you want in this video. And that's going to be the fourth week of the class. What we're going to do is get clear on what we want. And I like to use an analogy here that I think is really important. If you were going to go out into your car and you were going to go somewhere and you got in the car and you didn't know where you were going, it would be really hard to get somewhere, right? I mean, you could just say a lot of times in life what people do is they don't really know where they want to go. They just know what they don't want, where they don't want to go. So if you have bad relationships, I don't want to be, subject to this kind of abuse anymore. I don't want to be subject to this kind of people in my life anymore. But you don't know what you do want. And if you're going to go anywhere in your car, you need to know where you want to go. Okay, you may not need to know all the details or anything. You may have never been there and not even know exactly what it's going to be like, but you do need to know where you want to go. And so the last week of this class, we will be using all the things that we have learned up to then, but we will also be expanding out into, okay, if I could have anything that I want, what would it be? And starting to create a picture or a feeling or just an idea of what that might be. And so if you have had relationships that are toxic, that really don't work, that cause you all kinds of distress and pain, then you can start talking about what kind of relationships you do want. And it doesn't have to be partner based, it can be work relationships, it can be friendships. Wouldn't it be nice if when I went out in traffic, everybody was awesome and they all followed the rules? And I mean, all this is really based on frequency. And so we can start to like imagine our lives differently. Like, what do we want? Because so many of us just operate on default. It's like, well, we'll just let life row me wherever I want to go. But if you're not steering the boat, and you don't have to know how to steer the boat or be all the horsepower for the boat, but you do need to know where you're going. The captain of the ship needs to be looking at the nautical charts and deciding where they're going and the best route. Okay. So that is what this class will be about. Many times when I'm working with people in RTT, one of the questions I ask is if I had a magic wand and you could get anything out of this session that you want, what would it be? And I'm amazed at how many people just say, not what I have. That's the more common than not. That's the answer is, I want to be free from all of this. And it's like, well, that's great. And that's what we'll do. But you need to start building a vision of the future. And not everybody's visual. So it doesn't necessarily need to be something you see in your mind using your eyes. It could be just something that feels different. It could just be a life that's softer, that you have more time, that's more expansive, where you don't have to work so hard, where relationships don't have to feel so cumbersome and like you have to be a chameleon walking on eggshells all the time, because toxic relationships are full of that. And so if you didn't have that, what would you have? You would be around happy people, people who want to lift you up, who want to support you, who want you to thrive, who are in your corner. So it's just kind of that sort of a thing. And everybody has their own view and idea of what that might be. And so we'll be getting more and more clear on that. So you can start building on that in your life. And as you do that, you're going to start to notice which relationships match that kind of thing and which relationships don't. And gently, you can start to let go of the relationships that don't support that I mean, sometimes we have family members and things like that that we can't completely let go of, but we can just find a different way of interacting with them, or we can find less time. There are lots of things, and that's what we'll be doing as well, is if we have people in our lives that we have to stay in contact with who are toxic, then what can we do? And one of the things that's really cool about this is as you raise your frequency and you change, you might find that these people change the way that they treat you because people reflect the way that we treat ourselves. And so, as we treat ourselves better and we fall more and more in love with ourselves, not from a selfish place, but from a place that not only serves us, but serves everyone else in our lives who loves us, who needs us, and who relies on us, they need us to be strong. They need us to support ourselves and put ourselves first because we're teaching them how to be. If we have children, we're teaching them how to treat themselves. And we need to be the best example that we can. So that is the end of me describing the class that's going to be coming up. Again, it starts this Wednesday at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. You can sign up in the registration link under the notes here on YouTube or in my other social media platforms. I will leave the link. And please reach out if you have questions or anything like that. And I hope to see you there. Thanks for watching. Bye.